Income eligibility forms, which we call IEFs, are the form centers use to determine reimbursement rates for meals served to enrolled participants. You can download and print the most updated IEFs from our website. After this presentation, you will be able to describe the purpose of an IEF in the CACFP, understand what information is required in each section of the IEF, and you will be able to review a submitted IEF for completeness, accuracy, and be able to correctly determine IEFs for all enrolled participants. IEFs are used to determine reimbursement rates for each enrolled participant's meals and snacks. You must provide an IEF and Dear Parent Guardian letter to all enrolled families. Only one IEF is needed per family. English and Spanish versions of the IEF are available on the CDPHE CACFP website. The USDA has a family-friendly IEF available for families whose primary or preferred language is not English or Spanish. This document is available in 34 languages. Contact your nutrition consultant for additional information. New IEFs, parent guardian letters, and household guidelines are released by the USDA and available on the CDPHE CACFP website every summer. This is a sample of a blank Child Care Center IEF for federal fiscal year 2016 through 2017. The following slides will walk you through how to complete and review IEFs. Please note, the largest population on CACFP are child care centers. For this reason, the examples used will be based on a child care center IEF. In Part 1, parents or guardians must write the full name and age of each child enrolled for care at the center. Parents or guardians have the option to indicate the ethnicity and race of each child. If the parent or guardian chooses not to provide this information, the site representative must complete this portion. The representative must inform the parent or guardian that a visual identification will be made and the collection of this information has no effect on the determination of their eligibility to receive program benefits. Parents or guardians can mark this box if one or more children in the household is or are foster children. Foster children are automatically eligible for free meal reimbursement without an IEF as long as the institution obtains documentation verifying the child is a foster child. Institutions must keep this documentation on file for review purposes. The presence of a foster child in the household does not convey automatic eligibility for free meals to all children in the household. Households with foster and non-foster children may choose to include the foster child as a household member, as well as any personal income received by the foster child on the same IEF. When determining eligibility, the institution will determine the meals for a foster child as free and then will determine if the remainder of the household is eligible for free, reduced, or paid meals based on the household's income or other information reported on the IEF. Foster payments received by the family from the placing agency are not considered income and do not need to be reported on the IEF. Parents or guardians should mark this box if one or more children enrolled for care at the center is or are enrolled in a Head Start, Early Head Start, or even Head Start program. Children enrolled in federal and state-funded Head Start and Early Head Start programs are automatically eligible for free meal reimbursement in the CACFP. The institution must then obtain from the Head Start agency the required documentation to support Head Start eligibility. This documentation must be on file and available during CACFP reviews and audits. Parents or guardians should mark this box indicating one or more children listed above is a homeless, migrant, or a runaway child. The institution must obtain documentation verifying the status of the child from the director of the homeless shelter, migrant education program coordinator, or an official of the Runaway and Homeless Youth Program. This documentation must be filed and available during CACFP reviews and audits. Part 2, Assistance Programs. If anyone in the household receives benefits from SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, TANF, or FDPIR, the children on that IEF qualify in the free category. You must have the case number for this to be valid. Valid SNAP and TANF case numbers are 7 alphanumeric codes. Typically, these case numbers begin with 1, B, or G. If Part 2 is not complete or does not apply to the family, then Part 3 of the IEF must be completed for all children receiving free or reduced meal reimbursement. List all names of the household members who are not listed in Part 1, regardless of the person's age or income. Parents or guardians completing the IEF must report current income for each person who lives in the household, which is to include all money received prior to deductions by the household during the month prior to completing the form. Parents or guardians must report income for each person by type of income in the appropriate boxes on the form. The institution or site representative must calculate the total reported income amounts for the household and record that total amount on the IEF. If necessary, convert multiple income schedules to annual income, then use this total to determine eligibility for free or reduced meals. Income reported on the IEF must be an exact amount. Income may not be written as a range between two figures. All types of cash income must be reported, including but not limited to wages, salaries, commissions, fees, Social Security, public assistance, unemployment compensation, student financial assistance. If a household does not have any income, the parent or guardian completing the form can document 0 income. Families who wish not to share income information or who know that they are over income can indicate decline or over income in this section. These children's meals and snacks will be claimed at the paid reimbursement rate. The total number in the household must match the total number of names listed on the IEF in Parts 1 and 3. The far right column is for the center representative to total each individual's income and the income for the household in order to determine free, reduced, or paid eligibility. Be sure income is reported before taxes and other deductions are taken out. Part 4, Social Security Number. Parents or guardians completing the IEFs must provide the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. If the parent or guardian completing the form does not have a Social Security number, then he or she can mark the box indicating the absence of a Social Security number. Part 4 does not need completion if all valid information was provided in Part 2, Assistance Programs. The final section parents or guardians are required to complete is Part 5. Everyone is required to complete this section regardless which sections they completed above. They must sign the form, print their name, and indicate the date the form was completed, as well as provide their current address and phone number. This is the Household Income Eligibility Guidelines for Federal Fiscal Year 2016. The federal fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th. This chart is used to determine eligibility status based on income guidelines. Always use current guidelines. Compare household sizes and incomes. To be claimed as free, the total income amount needs to be less than or equal to the amount in the free column. To be claimed as reduced, the total income must be greater than the amount in the free column and less than or equal to the amount in the reduced column. And to be claimed as paid, the total income amount is greater than reduced, incomplete, or there is no IEF. Determining eligibility. After reviewing the IEF for completeness, the institution authority must mark the income category for the IEF. The institution authority must also sign the IEF and provide the month and year of determination. IEFs are good for 12 months from the date of determination. Centers must decide which date they will use for determination date for all IEFs, either the date the parent signs the IEF or the date the institution authority reviews and determines the IEFs. If the center chooses to use the parent date, the IEF must be reviewed during the same month or the following month of the parent date. Otherwise, the actual date of the IEF review has to be used. This is an example of a complete and valid child IEF using income information. This is an example of a complete and valid child IEF using assistance program information. This is an example of a complete and valid adult IEF using income information. This is an example of a complete and valid adult IEF using assistance program information. After IEFs have been reviewed and determined, it is important to organize the IEF and secure them in a secure location. A few helpful hints for IEF maintenance include keeping them in a 3-ring binder with current income guidelines, alphabetize them, separate them by category, use different colored paper for each year, have an annual update for all IEFs during late summer or early fall. Now that you have completed the IEF training video, review your center's IEFs and complete the center determination portion. Once all IEFs have been reviewed and determined, organize and store your IEFs in a locked drawer and/or office.